He could be having the lousiest postseason ever. It doesn't matter.
I'm not informed enough to either nod my head or dispute it. So
Mike would know better.
What would I know?
If Kadri's having a great postseason.
I'm sorry, I just put my headphones on.
If Kadri's having a great postseason.
Yeah, he's having an excellent postseason.
Right, I blurted out that he's having a great postseason. Greg said, what are the stats? I said, I think he has 2 or 3 game winners.
Well, he's been injured for a little bit of it, but this is his first game in the Cup final.
He's missed his last 3 games.
He got hurt with during the Oilers series when Evander Kane hit him.
Yeah, who was also having a good but weird postseason. I think Kadri's double digits goals and assists now.
Yeah,
Kane is able,
and Kadri had to deal with that's a bad joke.
Yeah, I was about to say. Can't let that slide.
Tony with the support of Kane is able.
Thank you, Tony.
Joke.
Thank you.
Kadri also had to deal with the racist attacks from St. Louis Blues fans, and the Blues could have done a much better job immediately after that to say that, to shun their fans that were going at not only Nazem Kadri but his wife on social media. And Kadri's one of these, not like Evander Kane because he had an offseason for the record books, but he's one of these
His
players.
Wikipedia page.
He does get under other teams' skin too. He is an agitator, and in watching him prior to that moment in St. Louis, he was a player that kind of annoyed me too. But I thought one of the cooler moments of this NHL postseason was when he answered back and he had a dominant performance against the Blues in the face of all that he was dealing with off the ice from that racial abuse. So I am a fan of Nazem Kadri, and for his game back with a broken thumb, the question entering last night's game was, can he shoot? And he shot an absolute beauty. So beautiful that he didn't even know that he scored.
You guys have spent the entire morning talking about that game and every break that there is. You guys are talking about the rules. You're talking about the fixing of the game. You're talking about the speed of the game. And one of the things that I was telling you, and we got derailed talking about it earlier, is I used to think that football had the most arbitrary of results decided by nothing. But when you're talking about all of these elements, to have a hockey game decided by there's not going to be cheering, yelling, a memorable goal, something special. It's going to be confusion, wandering around, an angry coach, and an announcement that a team has won. I can't tell for myself with my own eyes. And that swings the series. It's just a bummer. It seems like nothing to do. You can tell me that Colorado is better because they came from a goal down, but I know how unkillable this team is. It's one of the most amazing things I've seen in my lifetime that Tampa Bay survives everything when hockey is random and they're supposed to lose to Toronto or somebody.
I'm kind of reveling in the moment that was. Wasn't that weird? That makes it ultra memorable for me. And you don't often see it. I know you said Bruins and you've been
I meant to say the Flyers. It happened during the Flyers Cup Series with the Blackhawks, and that was my mistake.
The most polished broadcaster, I think, of his era, in Doc Emmerich. It happened to him. I kind of love the finish from last night.
Well, you said Tampa was testy, and I'm like, they'd be telling you to bleep off right now. Like, of course they're testy. Like, do you know how much those people care about winning? They're stopping every puck by diving in front of it.
The crowd shots, I think people were just so caught up in what had just happened that they miss like incredible direction from the broadcast team over at ABC ESPN. The crowd reactions from the Tampa Bay Lightning fans who they subscribe to, they're never going to die more than I ever could, tenfold over there. They were absolutely shell-shocked and stunned that, oh my God, they have a commanding 3-1 lead now. This was always supposed to just go back.
But it was announced. It wasn't. They didn't see it happen.
I wonder if there are members of the crowd that saw it, because it didn't seem like anybody saw it, but it was kind of like the moment in the Panthers-Lightning series where they overturned a goal because it hit the net, and I knew people that were there like, oh, I saw it hit the net. I knew that was going to be disallowed, and I wonder if there was somebody with a good angle on that shot that knew that it went in. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, you're watching the Avalanche celebrating, oh no, surely on replay, surely something will come to our aid here. This can't be how it ends, because Tampa had done all the things at home that you would associate. I mean, Vasilevsky was incredible again last night. They just wouldn't die, and yet that's how it's going to end?
You texted me because we had them in a parlay. You thought the game was over. They had the lead. They usually win that game 2-2, go back to Colorado. You thought the game was over.
Yeah, I did. And Mike, you mentioned the production from ESPN ABC. I thought they did a remarkable job last night of having stats that really summed up every big moment in the game. There was a couple that I picked out. One was they had not given up a home even strength goal in their previous 7 playoff games. That's insane. 7 whole games at home in the playoffs without giving up an even strength goal. And then the Avs had a great chance on a breakaway, and they flashed up a stat that Vasilevsky has saved 12 of the last 13 breakaways that he's faced. And those are the moments you go, all right, here we go, we're going to score. And every time, just nope. 12 out of 13 times.
On yesterday's show, when the Too Many Men crew joined the show, Allison Lucan said that you could actually see them flip the switch.
She said literally. You could literally see it. And I'm like, we can't literally see it, but it feels like that hockey team. You could, you certainly feel it.
I think in the first period, it manifested in ways that you can explain. Like, oh my God, they got 4 shots. How do they have 4 shots? Because there seems to be 8 Tampa Bay Lightning players on the ice right now, all throwing their bodies at the puck, each with 2 sticks in a hand. You can't get a clean look. They are absolutely sacrificing every inch of their bodies in this determined way to claw back into this series. And Nathan MacKinnon went from 0 shots in the first period to 6 in the second. You saw an adjustment during the intermission where the skill rose to the top. The speed finally started separating on that garbage ice. And the depth, which Tampa would always rely on, they're now looking in a mirror right now because Colorado may have surpassed them with the depth that they have.
Roy and Chris Cody are headed, sheets and giggles, they're headed to see what I'm expecting. I don't know whether I think people want to see you guys suffer.
Of course they do.
I think people don't want you to be able to go to a funeral in Colorado, that they want you to have to fly all the way out there, and you still can't kill Tampa Bay. You're going there just to hate them, and they say bleep off.
Were you about to say you expect Tampa Bay to come back here for Game 6?
I just want Roy and Chris Cody to be crushed again by Tampa Bay because they can't be killed. They can't be killed by anybody because even after they're eliminated, I'm going to expect them to come back and win the series in July or something.
I've told you have to go to John Cooper's funeral afterwards and drive a stake through his heart just to make sure he's dead.
But what I'm saying is that Stamkos is going to come by and they're just going to shake open the coffin and he's not going to be dead. They're going to figure out a way to be the greatest champion of my lifetime.
No, this series has to go 6 because ESPN has already programmed the 30 for 30 on the Avalanche Red Wings rivalry. I believe it's called Unrivaled. It's already slotted for pregame on Sunday. That's a perfect lead-in here, guys. We got to have a Game 6.
Unrivaled.
I wanted to get to some sports stuff with Kyrie Irving, but there have been some good questions asked around here today that don't have anything to do with sports, and I don't know which to choose from because Jessica was talking about what your game plan would be if you get the ridiculous menu item that you don't want to say the name to the person coming by to grab. It's just got too absurd a name for you, while Greg Cody was revealed in the kitchen to have betrayed a bunch of 4 and 5 years old because he was keeping score in the game he was coaching, and the rules have always been don't keep score, but he was enjoying bludgeoning the opposing 4-year-old keeper with a 4-1 score earlier.
It was a mental score, right?
Yeah.
There's no scoreboard.
It was spoken aloud, a little bit.
But he was asking which is harder because he's also training a 2-year-old puppy. He's asking which is harder.
2-month-old puppy.
2-month-old, excuse me. Wrangling 4 and 5-year-olds in a soccer game. Put it on the poll, please, Whittingham, at Le Batard Show. Wrangling 4 and 5-year-olds in a soccer game or trying to train a 2-month-old puppy. Which did you find harder?
It's physically, for me, it's more difficult chasing a puppy around a large fenced-in backyard for 20 minutes at 4:30 in the morning. It's more frustrating and a challenge to my patience to try to tell 4 and 5-year-olds that when they're out of the game on the sideline, that's the time they should be resting and watching the game, not 50 yards away, kicking the ball and running around, spending all their energy. But you can't, it's so difficult at that age group to get anybody to listen to you.
I want to know. It's difficult at your age group to get anyone to listen to you.
Hey, that kind of thing. You're right.
Do you have a Back in My Day today?
No, it's Thursday.
Exactly.
Is it retired? Is it now officially retired? Are you not doing it
Just on
anymore?
Thursdays.
No, but he hasn't done it for months. Like he hasn't
Well,
done one.
it's always been a Tuesday joint.
Yeah, but it's never been a Tuesday joint the last 3 months.
No.
Have you done one in
no.
2022?
I have. Yeah, I've done a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
A few of them.
Right.
It's a fallacy that I haven't done one recently. I think I've done one a month ago.
It's
I
a Tuesday.
I recall one on hood ornaments recently.
Oh, yeah, that was not a bad one either.
You should do pickup lines.
In Greg's defense, it is a Tuesday benchmark.
Thank you.
mean,
Okay, but
Yes.
in my defense, it hasn't appeared as a benchmark any of the previous Tuesdays for the last several months.
Well, that's wrong. Just recall the hood ornaments.
Regardless.
Hood ornaments.
Wow, your voice is just
Thank
done.
you. I'm out of practice. Hood ornaments. How's that?
better.
Not
Thank you.
much.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But Whittingham, I believe, had the question of the day and week. I don't know why it came up.
Wow.
I don't know the context. It's something I've been wondering all my life. We have talked about a 35-year-old movie today. I'm now going to do you one better by going into the 70s and asking a question that I've been asking for 50 years, which is, why do all the high schoolers in Greece look like they're middle age? I don't know.
Unbelievable.
They
Whittingham,
smoke like 6 packs of cigarettes a day.
Whittingham, I don't understand how you came
Wrong
by
with
the
that.
movie Grease, why you would arrive at the movie Grease, the 1970s movie Grease.
I thought you were talking about the country.
I did too
And
when he said that.
I was nodding
did too.
along
I did
because
too.
I've met my wife's relatives.
Yes.
Harsh. But I was actually doing the thing of flipping channels the other day. I actually like to flip channels.
Oh, it's the best,
Go
yeah.
in my guide and go from 1004 on AT&T Uverse all the way
Jessica,
through.
you just rolled your eyes at rolled channels.
So old of you, Witty.
Why? It's
You
just
even have cable still?
yeah. It comes with my
Wow.
building. So
Oh.
Have you ever taken a stroll through the
What a
channels? Like you never.
Oh, it's the best.
You
And
never
you
know
know-
what you're gonna find.
you
I
never.
mean,
And also, you can do it on the guide. Or you can just keep hitting channel up like an 80-year-old person.
Yep.
Every once in a while, I do the 80-year-old person
That's
thing.
what
I'm just
I
going
do.
channel
Yep.
up all
Yeah.
the way through.
a nice little surprise.
Whitty,
the best.
Yeah.
I'm with Jessica on this, though. The more and more that I've done random channel surfing, the more and more I find shit I don't want to watch.
What?
It's just an unending. With streaming and with the ability to watch what you want, when you want, and never strike out, I find the channel surfing, I don't even want to do it anymore.
I feel like most cable channels have just stopped programming anything new on their channel, right? Like that MTV schedule goes viral like once a month, and it's just 45 reruns of ridiculousness back to back to back for like 12 hours a day. I feel like that's every cable channel right now except Food Network, which is putting out fantastic original programming.
Great stuff.
But like the Paramount Network, was it Yellowstone? I think it's like their last big hit, but they put that a lot on Paramount Plus. Like, yeah, everything that is new and is meant to drive your attention is on streaming. However, I still like the stroll, so I popped up on Grease on the Paramount Network, and it's flabbergasting how you go through the First off, it's jarring in the opening scene when John Travolta pops up. We see him for the first time, and he's smoking cigarettes. And I asked somebody, I go, is that normal? Was it normal for people in for high schoolers in the 1950s to be smoking cigarettes? That
It
seems
was.
astounding
No,
to me.
it was. It was.
I
yeah.
just loved
They
revealing.
didn't know the health ramifications. Then.
I just loved revealing to a friend of mine the other day that they used to allow smoking on airplanes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a
I remember when I
glorious
was.
time.
That's how old I am, I guess. Like I remember going on airplanes that had ashtrays that were since
Sure.
like covered up. But
I can't think of something more inconsiderate than smoking a cigarette on an airplane.
The whole plane was doing it.
Smoking
Yeah.
a cigar on an airplane.
People smoked everywhere
Get rid
at
of
any
like
time.
smoking and non-smoking sections, because I vaguely remember those like at an Outback Steakhouse when I was like little, and now it's all like I think there was some sort of legislation passed, right, where you can't smoke indoors in certain states.
yeah,
In Indiana, you definitely still can, because like you go to a bar somewhere in South Bend, there's people smoking at the bar, but like
might they
Illinois,
coach Notre Dame's basketball team? Because he looks like it.
He does. He looks so much like
But
that.
in the movie Grease, Soccer Channing was the same age that DeAndre Jordan is presently now.
Oh, yeah. It's
There's
crazy.
another-
How old is Kaneki? Because
Oh,
Kaneki
Kaneki
is
looks so
Kaneki.
He
old.
was 47.
No, there's one guy. I forget the guy's name, but I looked it up. He was 34.
Is it the
and he has,
is it the pudgy guy?
Yeah, the guy, like, his hair, he's balding. He's balding. He's supposed to be in high school.
It was ridiculous that he was
and,
in
like,
high school.
You can see his 5 o'clock
Oh, it was
shadow.
Barry Pearl, right? It was Duty.
I think it was Barry Pearl. You're right. It's just, and I went, like, so I missed the first 40 minutes of the movie because I just went on everyone's wiki page looking for how old they were. Stockard Channing actually kind of looked, I mean, she looks young, right? She doesn't look like someone who is that old in the movie. But everyone, like with the 5 o'clock shadow and with the balding, they look so old.
Okay, but look at Michael Tucci.
That was it. That was the one. He's 34. He's 34, and he's supposed to be a high school senior.
I want you to look. I want all of you within the sound of my voice. I want all of you right now together to Google Michael Tucci and see what Greece was trying to pass off as a teenager in 1976. It's flabbergasting. That dude is 35 years old and balding. He is in the middle of midlife crisis.
Woody, do you have any songs stuck in your head from watching it? Because when I watch Grease, I always get a song or two stuck in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, I spent...
Wop, bam, boo, bop.
Wop, bam, boo.
That was beautiful.
I love singing, "Though summer..." Yeah, I can't hit that note. I wouldn't go for it. I love Jess out there to do it.
Voice, you can't hit that
I
note.
can't do that.
Jessica, what is it that you were refusing to order, or what was your game plan the other day as it came to ridiculous orders at a restaurant? Because I tend to sing those things and say them over and over again, yes, and annoy the... No, I tend to be I'm like, please, get me extra, whatever it is.
I'll
ridiculous
have the
name
Bubba
thing.
Banana Pudding Pancake Combo. Yeah, I feel like IHOP is like infamous for all these stupid menu items.
Banana.
The Mischievous Minion Kids Combo, like, what are we doing? No, I was actually not at IHOP, though. I was at this other place, and I was getting, like, a to-go salad. And the cashier was like, what kind of salad did you get? And I looked over at the menu, and I was like, I think it's, like, the market salad. And she was like, oh, the makeout salad? And I was like, no, not the makeout salad.
The makeout salad.
What? Like, what?
We order every once in a while
does that mean?
for our Monday or Tuesday lunch here that comes to the studio from a Mexican place, and they really lean into the Mexican theme. There's like a burrito that's called like the steak burrito no mames way, and it's like I couldn't possibly say that out loud in a restaurant. If I had to say no mames way to a waiter, which is like it's like a Mexican expression for like get out of here, like no mames.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not just get out of here. Mames is a slur or not. It's a curse word. It's It's a curse word. I mean, mames is
right.
Is the verb is jiggle your balls.
What? Is it?
Oi.
I thought it was more of a suck.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think it's a
jiggle.
It's
a hell of a burrito.
Which one is it?
It can be both, like with many things in the Hispanic language.
What's on that burrito?
It can be both.
Good Lord.
I wanted to get some expertise here from the people who care about golf because I saw a sentence.
Oh boy.
My
Stugotz.
burrito don't jiggle. It sucks.
You've got the commissioner of the PGA saying, quote, the tour can't compete with a foreign monarchy. It was such a funny expression to see him throw in a quote. Can't compete with a foreign monarchy spending billions attempting to buy golf.
They can't. He's being honest. From a financial standpoint, the PGA will never be able to do what the LIV Tour is doing. They just can't. It's an endless amount of money. But what I find fascinating is you have a bunch of guys. The PGA can no longer say the greatest golfers play here. Some of them play there. And what you're seeing here with guys like Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau, they have all these exemptions by winning majors. And so they're telling you, hey, we don't care about the tour. We don't care about those other tournaments. We care about the four majors. The Open Championship is allowing guys from both tours to play. in the Open Championship coming up in July. So,
and nobody roots for a tour. Nobody roots.
No.
The tour in this instance ends up being the NCAA, the organization that governs and gets the money and thinks itself important in the governing of individual brands that don't actually need the PGA.
What I like about Koepka is he's brutally honest. And what he's telling you is, hey, I don't love golf where I need to play it every single weekend. Give me a couple of $100 million. I've already won 4 majors. I have exemptions for the next 20 years for the tournaments that I want to play in, and those are the 4 majors. And so he's good with it. I know people are disturbed by where the money comes from, but those guys clearly aren't.
But just so you know what's being bought here, because I'll keep putting it in front of you again and again and again. A foreign government, and there are many that we're compromised because we are open and up for sale in every orifice in America and everywhere else. We are built on commerce and capitalism. We have a lot of questionable relationships, and this happens to be one of them with a country that has a lot of human rights violations, and Phil Mickelson has given voice to one of them while kind of shrugging his shoulders in the bone sawing of a journalist, which is objectionable to anyone listening to this, I would assume.
It's also not the only thing that's objectionable.
No, I could do a lot of them, but this is the one. This was the one. I don't want to call it a cause celeb, but this is the one that Phil Mickelson was talking about in the selling of the soul for the blood money here. And again, it's an easy criticism we can make in a lot of business instances, though. It's rarely so cold that the foreign monarchy threatens a PGA commissioner, not exactly a lovable figure here. You're talking about the country club. Again, I've told you that it was both Hacks and George Carlin I've seen recently over 50 years just say of golf is racist is a sentence covering 50 years as in 2 comedy shows 50 years apart. Golf is racist. The PGA Tour commissioner is protecting his fiefdom. All the players greedy and selfish of the country club are saying, bleep that, I get to work less for more? I do not care about your tour. Money rules all. I will take the blood money. I will take it from the foreign monarchy. I don't love golf that much. I want to work less and make more. It really is the American dream being funded by the Saudis. Mm-hmm. So that you've got Greg Norman and Phil Mickelson, who are also already plenty rich.
Yep.
And Dustin Johnson and Koepka and all these guys who've got this great life, Stugotz, a life you must envy. What are you telling me right now, Koepka? You don't love playing golf every weekend. The way you play golf, you don't like playing golf every weekend? The way you get to play it. Stugotz bombs out of here every day at noon to play golf. If he were as good as Koepka, if he was better than everyone in the world, he would be playing every minute of every day.
Yeah, but I think things change when you win 4 majors and you've won a bunch of money. And he's not saying he doesn't love golf. He doesn't need to travel and play 4 rounds every single weekend in tournaments that he doesn't care about.
You're familiar with what this transaction is, though, right?
Yes.
It is the Saudi government buying these fat cats who are already plenty wealthy from the country club by making their lives somehow easier. Please work less. We've got billions. The PGA Tour can't compete with this.
It's interesting because the guys that are going over, the guys in their prime that are going over are guys who have won the majors. If you haven't won enough majors yet, you don't have the exemptions you want. Therefore, you'll likely stay with the PGA Tour. They just want to play in those 4 tournaments. And those guys, even Patrick Reed, who won a Masters, he has exemptions for the next 5 years in all the majors. So why not go over and take $150 million?
The PGA Tour is the lead partner on the DP World Tour, formerly the European Tour, that has an official stop in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour in itself collects billions of dollars from sponsorships that have very clear ties to Saudi Arabia. It's hard to feel bad for the PGA Tour.
Well, I don't think anyone should feel bad for the PGA Tour. It's not like they've been proactive in doing anything that the players on the tour have wanted them to do for decades. But
have you noticed they now are? Like it's forced their hand.
Yeah, they're doing no-cut tournaments,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
With guaranteed pots.
Very reactionary.
Right, and 4 international tournaments for like $25 million purses.
Between participating in global capitalism, which I'm not giving an excuse for, and being literally funded by an autocratic government regime.
It's an unbelievable quote. It's an unbelievable quote to read from a commissioner in 2022 saying, I cannot compete with a foreign monarchy trying to buy golf. Like, what? When the fuck did that happen?
It should happen with UFC.
Always makes me happy to see this man, a legend. Just not just a legend for the reasons that you think he's a legend. He's the only guy who hasn't gotten got by my dad on the handshake and hit him with a bye Felicia.
Well, he's too cool for that.
I mean,
man.
it's unbelievable, though. Everybody else gets got by the old man, but Ice Cube was way too savvy, and he's here. He's talking to us about the big three. Who, Stugotz? You will not be surprised. Somehow, Joe Johnson still, and he'll be doing this till he's 80. I know Ice Cube is tired of this. Joe Johnson is going to be running your league when he's 85 years old, dragging a dialysis machine back there because he's going to be getting buckets at 85, correct?
Hey, man, it could happen. It shows you that when you keep yourself in shape and you keep your skill level high and you don't give up on yourself and you don't let the world retire you, you can continue to do great things. And Joe Johnson is a testament of that. And look, we got guys in our league that's in their 20s and they still can't handle Joe Johnson.
What are some of the things in becoming a businessman, Ice Cube? I don't know where this ranks, getting into this business and your career achievements and owning things and running things. But what are some of the difficulties you were not expecting getting into the big business of sports?
With the cachet of names and talent and legends that we have around this league, it's still hard to get the attention from the sports media that I think the league deserves. It's the only professional 3-on-3 league in the world. It's the best professional 3-on-3 league in the world with some of the best players in the world. So that's surprising to me that we didn't get, we're not getting more love from the media. I mean, you've always shown me love, so don't take that as yourself. But, far as the, wide sports media, also, I thought it would be shoe companies all over us. We did our first year with Adidas and, they had their issues during the pandemic. And so they didn't, bring us back. But we figured, somebody else would jump in there. So things have been harder than I expected with the talent and the names that we have around this league.
But none of the problems with the players, huh? Business with the players, because you're meeting some people here. This must be such a joy for you personally, not just as a business, Cube. I don't know where this ranks for you on the work that you've done, whether it's creative or otherwise. But the idea that you're funding a league of these old guys that I imagine you grew up admiring as some of your favorites.
He's got Drexler as the commissioner. I mean.
Like, it must be such a cool rich person's toy to have like a league of these guys that you love when, I don't need to tell you about the connections between hip hop and these basketball players and just basketball in general.
Yeah, I mean, they're my heroes, you know what I'm saying? I mean, being able to talk to Dr. J and Iceman on a regular and Rick Barry, these guys are legends of the game. And so I don't look at it like, I look at it like I have to make sure I set the stage for these guys who are great and the guys on the court. The basketball IQ is at such a high level by this time, and playing half court allows them to still play at a high level. So, it's just amazing to see these guys go to work, day in and day out. So that's what's the most fun. I did, help create everything you see, from the logo to the team logos, to the colors, to this, to that. That's fun too, being involved on that level. But, the people that we're talking about, Nancy Lieberman, Lisa Leslie, Michael Cooper, it's Rick Mahorn, GP. We talking about some of the greatest that ever played, and they're coaching our teams, and so it's just amazing. And what's cool too, Dan, is like some of these guys wouldn't have never got a shot to coach an NBA team, So it's amazing to put them back in the arena, as a competitor, even if it is just coaching.
Your draft is coming up. Some of these names, all of these names make me smile. Will Bynum, Terrence Williams, Stromile Swift. Oh, that's a great name. I am wondering, Cube, who would you take first in your draft? I'd go Kendall Gill. That guy will be able to dunk until the day he dies. I mean,
Kendall actually played a couple of years, and he hasn't come out for the last, maybe 3 years. To me, it's like either you still got it, you can still play at a high level or not. It's not really about your name, it's about your game. And it's not really about your age, it's about your skill level and your endurance. And this is what the big three is proving. Like I said, we got guys that's 27, 29, 31, fairly in their prime, and they still have problems with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. So,
he'll get you buckets. That's why he'll get you buckets forever. That's why for the rest of there ain't anybody going to stop him from getting buckets when he's 117 years old. Do you the greatest joys? I want to talk to you about the building of businesses. Did you imagine when you're in NWA, like you always had ambition, but when you're thinking about what your future looks like, was it boardrooms? Was it negotiating these kinds of deals that find you now as a businessman? And I wanted to ask you as well, in the hip hop game, who are the businessmen you most admire?
I think when you go through, being part of a big giant group and then you leave because the business wasn't right, it schools you very quick to become a businessman and to figure out what went wrong and to make sure it didn't happen again. So early in the game, I started to think like that. And, some of the smartest businessmen in the game I've seen, Eazy-E, Eric Wright, Luther Campbell. He was pressing his own records. He had a pressing plant at his factory. Seeing people like that, Russell Simmons, these guys to me are great and smart, and, they know what they're doing when it comes to making moves. And, I learned from them, peeping that out, and then started to connect with great people. I think that's what it's all about. It's about connecting with a great team to help you with the stuff you don't know.
What's the most fun that you have making things over the last 30 years, or just where you spend your days? Because at this point, you have all the freedom in the world. You could be doing anything you want, correct?
Yes and no. I still got responsibilities, but at the end of the day, I like seeing people enjoy what I create. That's the ultimate. When, creating that's what gets my juices going. So, I love to stay busy and try to, create cool stuff for the world, for people to enjoy. And when you put it out and people enjoy it, that gives me the most satisfaction. But I'm usually on to the next. By the time the public get it, I'm usually on to something else.
So you don't spend a lot of time going back to the days of listening to your music or listening or watching some of the things you've made. You're ambitious in a way that you want more things, and you're not spending a lot of time enjoying the things you've made in the past.
Yeah, that's correct. I don't spend a lot of time looking back. I spend more time looking forward. Sometimes I catch, things here and there that I've created when it comes to movies and music, but mainly I'm like on to the next, trying to create the next thing that people dig, or if I dig it, that's a starting point, and if everybody else dig it, that's great.
What do strangers want to connect with you on, though, most often? Like when they want to come approach you and they want to talk about something you've made, what are the most emotional spaces? Or I should say, the places that you enjoy with a discerning fan of something that you've made, where you actually don't even mind the person coming up to you because they're talking about something that you're proud of.
Oh, music and movies. It depends on the era of the fan. Sometimes it surprised me that, you know, an older fan is into NWA, you know, or somebody I would think that would be into maybe my comedy movies. You know, they go straight for NWA.
Give me some of those. Give me some of those. Give me some of those most surprising ones that you've gotten. Somebody meeting you and you're like, "Whoa, I was not expecting that."
It's usually the people I see at my concerts. You know, I'm like, you know, you up there rocking. I'm seeing people, of course, of my era. It's cool to see them with their kids, but when you see, you know, them with their mother, you know, and like grandmoms and grandpops is in there rocking, it lets you know that music is universal. You never know who you're gonna connect with when it comes to the music, and you know, when it comes to youngsters, you know, they really love my movies. And it's cool when they discover my music, when they get to a certain age where they start to understand what I'm all about, you know, as an artist, and they start to become fans on a whole different level.
Did you have an opinion on the halftime show? And just as someone who has watched sports for a long time and the business and music for a long time, the most recent Super Bowl show coming through Kaepernick and all that stuff where Jay-Z, you know, some people are going to accuse him of being bought by the league and all that stuff that you're watching, the business of the halftime of the Super Bowl. Did Ice Cube, from wherever you were watching it, did you have opinions?
Yeah, I thought it was dope. You know, I thought having the whole, you know, West Coast flavor, you know, pretty much all the Dr. Dre's proteges up there doing their thing. I enjoyed it. And so, you know, I hope they open it up for another artist of the same caliber.
Who do you most admire from music? Who are the people who you just not just people that you learned from, but people that you watch now and you're still like, man, those people are badasses. They're still doing it. I really can't believe that Snoop is still out here mainstream. Like, that's one of the most stunning stories of my lifetime, that guy's been mainstream through Lee Iacocca, AOL, 30 years from a murder trial. Like, I don't even understand what's happening there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's some great people out there, you know, from Quincy Jones to Dr. Dre. You know, these are, you know, still amazing, you know, musicians and people that can still, you know, put together great projects. You know, it's a lot of people, man. You know, that list is kind of long. You know, that would be, you know, the people that I really look at and are in awe of when it comes to what they created.
Because you don't have a lot of peers is the reason that I ask you the questions, because I'm wondering who you admire when you go on the list of people very high here as Hall of Famers at what they do.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the people I admire are more, you know, in my life, you know, like my father, you know, my family members, you know, musicians and people, you know, are on a whole nother level. Like Bob Marley is an artist, I think, who got the most out of his, you know, music. Chuck D, Public Enemy, you know, these guys have sacrificed in a lot of ways to try to bring a message to the music. You know, these are people to me to admire. It's people who, you know, use the music as art and to get across a message and not just as a money-making vehicle.
Who's the player? Listen, I don't imagine you dork out much, but I am wondering, is there a player in your league upon meeting him where Cube just dorked out, like Ryan Gomes, perhaps?
Ryan Gomes. I mean, not really. I've every time we've got a player that I've seen or played, I'm extremely happy that they are part of the league. We've had some great names come through the league, in this short 5 years, like Allen Iverson, Amari Stoudemire, Nate Robinson, Corey Maggette. And now, having Michael Beasley and Gerald Green and Corey Brewer, Glenn Rice Jr. It's cool to have guys that I know can, have success in the big three come out and play. And so I wouldn't say what did you say that word was?
Like dorked out. Like you were
Dorked
super
out.
excited to meet him.
You became a fan,
Right.
boy. Like you became a little nervous.
Like holy bleep, I'm sitting here with Doc.
Yeah, here's Dr. J. I can't believe this.
No, I mean I knew them guys before I started the league, so I had met them guys, popping up at All-Star games here and there, and so the answer is no.
He's Ice Cube. I mean, he's Ice Cube.
I said I imagine he doesn't dork out very much.
They might be dorking out around him more than he's dorking around them.
I'm certain there is. Ryan Gomes was one of them.
Ryan Gomes, he laughed in your face at the idea of Ryan Gomes. But thank you for opening the door, because now I can get the sports fan out of him, and maybe I can get him agitated. Maybe I can get him emotional. Your Lakers this year, you must be like, on behalf of Los Angeles, you've gotten mad at Stern for denying you Chris Paul. You are, I don't know if this is where your greatest sports allegiance reside, but I would like big giant public beef between you and LeBron, because he has desecrated your Lakers and draped them in shame in a way that is totally unacceptable.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen. I mean, LeBron brought the Lakers a ring, so he did what he was supposed to do. If we don't get another ring out of LeBron, he's done what he was supposed to do. Now, that being said, I've been through this before, Dan. Remember when they brought in Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Shaq, Cole? We had that at the same time. It was a disaster, because of injuries. This season, a disaster because of injuries. So I accept that. I know we can't win the championship every year. So, I think I've learned how to see the future. And I think, the Lakers, even if we come back with the same squad, if we don't get Kyrie, we'll definitely have a better season than we had.
If we don't get Kyrie, you see what he snuck in there? If we don't get Kyrie, I don't know.
Yes.
And Russell Westbrook, I don't want to turn you into a hater, but I'm just trying to find the places where your sports allegiances make you unreasonable. The Raiders leaving and playing in Las Vegas. Like, what is the place where Ice Cube allows himself to be an irrational sports fan these days?
I mean, I was bitter about the Raiders not coming to L.A. The Chargers should be in Vegas, but it didn't happen. You know what I mean? But that's how I envisioned it. So I can accept now that the Raiders are in Vegas. I can't accept the Chargers in LA. That just
can't accept it.
I can't accept that. That's terrible, terrible, terrible. So that being said, that's why I'm,
How do you feel about the Rams being the championship representative for Los Angeles?
I'm good with the Rams. The Rams, they fine. They're in the NFC West. You know what I mean? No problem with them. They was in LA before, built a new stadium, and what the people had to go through in Inglewood is not fun. But at the end of the day, they brought a championship to LA. So it is what it is.
How does the family navigate Ice Cube's early years with NWA? What needed to be taught about Ice Cube as a young man to your children? What are some of the things that you ended up learning as you navigated fame and allowed them a better life based on what it is that you were doing in your 20s so that they would never have to experience anything like that in their 20s?
Just let them know when I was, younger, where music and reality, separates. And, it's like my whole generation is basically, in some of the places that I grew up. So it was always right there, for us to go see and check out and let them understand, what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful that I was able to take them out that environment, and they didn't have to really deal with that growing up. They just had to deal with me.
How'd that go for them? How were you a disciplinarian? Like how did dealing with you go?
Look, I'm firm, but I'm fair.
You just declared that, firm but fair. Yeah. Can you explain? Yeah. All right, but tell me what might O'Shea Jr. say to firm but fair? What would be some of his examples?
Well, he's kind of a wild card a little bit. We've always had to try to wrangle him in. He's a free spirit in his own way.
Look, he smiles because he's like you. Yes, he's smiling. Are you smiling? You're smiling almost with a reluctant pride there at him skirting around your firm but fair.
No, he didn't get away with nothing. He just tried to more than all my other kids.
You seem to admire it, though. You seem to sort of respect it.
Hey, he's his own man. I like that. I got good kids, respectable kids. They grown kids now. So, hey, I feel like, their mama did a great job.
Always good catching up with you, sir. What do you want people to know on the way out here with the Big Three? What is it that you'd like them to know as you continue? I admire the fact that you're out here fighting on behalf of this league, because I believe the sports rights deals have gotten your attention. There is, as you clamor, you're trying to do something here that's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Hey, most sports leagues fail. Basically, I need your support. I need everybody's support. Support this league. I think it's a league that can grow. We want to expand and have real competitive hoops in the summer. Why not? What else we got to do? Watch, a bunch of other sports that we're probably not as interested in. So
you're slamming baseball.
I'm not slamming nobody. It's like,
is it hockey? Was it hockey that he was going after?
I watched the game yesterday. But look, check it out. Support the Big Three. Support the Big Three. These are the athletes you love. And look, we're doing a great thing. Check us out on CBS on Saturday and Sunday. Go to big3.com. I'm a politician right now, man. You know what I mean? Just support
your
the
sales.
league.
You got to be a promoter. You got to be. I mean, you're trying to get. Do people understand how hard a sport? Did you think it was this hard? Like, sports leagues are not easy to get off the ground.
Most of them fail. I think the only one that survived in the last 20 years was UFC. So we're happy to be here in our 5th year. But look, we need the support of the public without a doubt. And if you ain't doing nothing, check out the Big Three.
Good catching up with you, sir. Always good talking to you. Thank you for the time.
Appreciate it, Dan. Take it easy, you guys. Later.
Thank you.